Hi everyone, it's Koinzell here. So, as you can see here, this class here is Stryker. We are going to do a Stryker video today. I'll run through the class introduction, the ranking of the class itself, both in endgame and what I anticipate it to be in the BDM Global. I'll run through the skills as well, and I'll touch on the PvE and also a bit on the PvP. Okay, but the PvP I'll definitely do a separate video to showcase him in arena. Okay, so first off, this is how he fares in PvE. This is a Elion map, by the way, not the Hadum map. So just to let you guys see, you'll notice right off the bat that the AOE of his skills is actually not that great, especially if you compare it to those classes that are really strong at farming, like Land Awakening, Tamer. Okay, let me go into the Hadum so I can show you guys as well. But I suppose for the folks who have been waiting for a new Mew character, Stryker should be a good option to play. And so it's pure martial arts, pure punches and kicks. No Hadouken. I believe I mentioned a few times in my stream, you actually have Hadouken when you are a Stryker, but when you ascend to Grand Stryker, you don't get the Hadouken move anymore, which is a bit weird in terms of flavor, in terms of the character's flavor. But oh well, that's the decision the devs have made. So overall PvE wise, this is not that great, honestly speaking. This loses out to a lot of the classes that are strong in PvE. So what's my conclusion on Stryker's PvE? I would say it's actually quite at the bottom, almost at the trash level. But in return, his arena prowess is very strong. He's one of the top in the arena itself. At least for BDM Global, he will definitely be the top. And the thing about Stryker, right, he's actually a one-trick pony. Why do I say that? Because he's only good in arena. He's not great in PvE. I consider this as a trash level PvE. He's not great in group versus group, honestly speaking. He's okay, but not fantastic. It's not where he shines. But that being said, right, I would still encourage you guys to try him out. After all, he's another character that can help boost up your family CP, right? Especially since you guys have the family prestige system now. Okay, so this is for the Hadum itself. I'm gonna exit Hadum now. Just let it farm in Elion because I don't have that much of the Hadum potion. In fact, I don't have any Hadum potion on this character. If you want me to show you guys, this character is actually one of my Mew storage character. He is specialized in storing my red gear materials. This for dark gear. These are all the different world boss materials. So yeah. Okay, let's look at his skills. Before I talk about skills, let's talk about his ranking. Let me think about it. No, let me talk about the skills first so that you guys can better appreciate the ranking. Now, the very first skill you have here is this. It's a very simple, straightforward skill. And in PvE, when you use this, right, the range is very small. But in PvP, this skill is absolutely insane. Why? Because it's actually a counter skill. When you cast this, even at a distance, not this kind of close range, when you cast this at a distance, if your opponent is attacking you and you cast this, right, you will actually counter attack him. There's no actual motion, just this motion alone, where he holds it there, is a counter attack. So the moment your opponent hits him when he's in that pose just now, your opponent will be stunned because this does do a stun. So your opponent will take damage and stun, and then you can follow up with the rest of your skills. So this skill is absolutely bonkers in arena. And these skills also makes it such that you cannot spam your skills when you're up against a Stryker. Because take for example, if the Stryker has knocked you down, he does his combo, and you're spamming your skill to attack him when you get up, right? If the Stryker times this skill well, you will immediately get stunned again. Okay, you will get stunned again, provided the super armor of your skill is over and the striker times it well. But I definitely seen it happening before. You can chain knock down your opponent if your opponent is too careless. Now, this is the second skill. I would say this is more a PvP skill, because what you see is that it just does a combo in front. But only after 2 hits then you land an effect on your opponent, and it's very very close range. It's not great for PvP, honestly speaking. It's only good for PvE. Now, branch system wise, it's actually good to go Ahib and Le Brief on the striker if you only can go 2, because there's a few skills that you can go Ahib on. For this, that's like 6 hits, so RP is actually a very viable option for this. This you can take Le Brief if you don't have L. Obviously, Sarret you don't take, you just take L. And this is Le Brief. This is Ahib. Even though it's only 3 hits, but it's still better than Sarret. Anyway, this is a PvE skill. Okay. This is more PvP. Ahib is fine, although it's only 4 hits. So even the branch system of Stryker, right, it's not that great, if you ask me. But if you can do 3 system, then it's definitely L, Ahib, Le Brief. No, don't need to even think about it. Okay, so let's look at the problem with this skill is only 2 hits. That's why I recommend using L for this. But if you only can go 2 branches, then you should be Le Brief. Okay, now the second skill I've talked about already is just combo skill. This is also another combo skill, which mainly good for PvE. You can tell it should be too slow for PvP, and not to mention only at the very last hit, then there's some effect. So obviously you don't use this. This is a great skill, one of the better skills for the Stryker, and this is the skill that replaces the Hadouken in a sense, because this is a range skill. Look at the range. The only problem with this skill now is that there's the super armor effect. It's not applicable in arena. In the past, right, when this was applicable in arena, this skill is absolutely terrorizing people, because it's such a huge range, huge damage from far, and on top of that has super armor. So that has been balanced, and this skill is very important. This skill, you can try using it as a range skill to knock your opponent down. But if not, right, you can still use it as a follow-up skill after you use the counter skill or the dash attack. But make sure that your opponent is already stunned before you use this, because there's no super armor. And because the range and the AoE is decent, this skill is still good in PvE as well. Okay, this is the dash attack. It's a very simple one, just dash and knee your opponent, that's all. Okay, obviously the distance is better than this. I don't know why the default distance is only like this. The super armor when you use this skill as well. This I would call it a PvE skill rather than PvP, because it's just like this. Its effect is not used in arena, and only the very last hit gives the stun. And more importantly, why I say this is for PvE, because this has a suction effect on the monsters. In terms of the additional effects, additional 1 more hit, 10% AoE. Yeah, sorry, I think I forgot to run through this earlier. Nah, don't use this. It's not good to use this. This is a additional target to hit, sort of like the Sarret effect. This is also additional target to hit. This is a attack buff, AP buff. This is good. You should get this once you can. This 10%. So this one effectively increases the damage of every hit and gives a 3x rate. So this is good for PvE. Go back to this skill. Increases the number of hits, but at the end it does a knockback rather than a stun. So that's why I say it's not as good. In PvP at least. Okay, then let me just look at the bars for the range skill, the tornado kick. So this causes bleeding, that's why it's good in PvP as well as attack speed reduction. And a 10% boost in AoE. This is knee skill, dash attack. This is the suction skill, 10% increase AoE and additional 1 hit. This skill actually is fairly decent and a very quick damage skill, as you can see, just one little turn like this. And you don't need the second hit when you are using in PvP because you want this for the damage. Let me see this. Yeah, there. Here you go. This is the effect that is very desirable for PvP for this skill because it does a 3x damage, and when you use this skill, you get super armor. Obviously, it doesn't get used in the arena, but it does increase the damage. But what in return you lose the HP regeneration that you get from here. And on top of that, there's a movement speed debuff. So this is one of the skill to use in your combo when you knock down your opponent. This you can use purely for the damage. Anyway, the super armor by default is already there even if you are using this. This really is the 3x damage that you want. This skill is only if you're against the kind of characters that keep darting around and you're not able to catch them, then you use this. This skill can travel very far, by the way. If you hold on to it, if you're not wrong, it can travel almost the whole area in the arena. It only travels lesser distance than the Berserker's dash attack. Now, this is one of the coolest skills on Stryker. It is effective a grab, and once you grab your opponent, you drag them across the floor, and then you swing them outwards. Yeah. So this grab skill helps him a lot in arena. You should use this as the last skill in your combo, so that when your opponent is about to get up, right, they get grabbed instead, and then you can land in one more hit, which can be this hit. Yeah. So damage wise, this is not too great. Honestly, it's quite low. It's only 50%. It's just it serves the purpose of itself is really just the grab. And obviously, you shouldn't use this in PvE because you only grab one target. So this is just the level 70 buff. Very standard. 2-second dodge reduction, 50 attack, and 100 HP. And obviously, the effects are pretty much similar. Crit damage increase and Black Spirit Rage. Yeah, I forgot to talk about this. So there's a cooldown reduction, as well as this is the one where I mentioned when you hold it, right? Once okay, what this does is that you need to use a dodge first, followed by this skill in combo, and you will increase the movement that it goes, and that's how you travel the whole distance of the arena. Okay, this I've already covered. So essentially, if you look at the skills of Stryker itself, you can tell he's designed for PvP. In fact, designed for 1v1. It's as straightforward as that. But that's why his PvE suffers in return, because he is a character designed purely for arena. Okay, this is actually the 11th skill. I have not even cleared the requirements for this skill yet. Like I said, to me, Stryker is actually ranked very, very low. But for you guys in BDM Global, because Arena is such a huge content for you guys, you don't have the rest of the content, like Black Sun, Battlefield Sun. So that is why the it becomes not that, how should I put it? Not that crucial. Or rather, sorry, let me rephrase. It becomes a character that can easily rank at the very, very top for you guys, because Arena is like the main PvP content for you guys. So that would mean that Stryker will become very strong in BDM Global as long as you play Arena. He will no doubt be the number one amongst the classes that you guys have now. I have no doubt about that at all. Okay, so this is the 11th skill. What it does is a uppercut followed by a punch downwards. Decent damage, and while you're jumping, right, opponent cannot grab you. Okay, Let that sink in. Opponent cannot grab you. So it's a counter against the grab characters. The characters with grab skill. And the first hit already does the not back. Okay, so this skill is definitely you should be using it in PvP once you have it. But for BDM Global, since you guys don't have it, I also don't need to go and clear the quest to show it. Now, this is the PvE setup. For obvious reasons, you should drop the grab. You don't need the level 70 buff. And that's about it. Because I don't have the 11th skill. If I have the 11th skill, I will probably put it in to replace the dash attack. Yeah. Now, if I go to PvP setup, this is the setup that I will do. And basically, you should always start with either your dash attack or your counter skill. Once it connects, use the Typhoon to knock your opponent down, and you can use it again because the Typhoon is a very fast skill, fast damage. Use it 2 times in a row. If you are close enough to opponent, you feel that you have the time, right? You can use this skill first, then use the grab. Alternatively, you can use the grab, then use this skill. But it's more risky to use the grab and use this skill. It's actually safer to use this and this. It's just that if you use the grab first, you have a chance to if you are a bit slower, if you have a chance, if you catch the timing well, right, you can actually grab your opponent while they are about to counter. That's the only thing, right? I mean, that's the same thing that Paladins are trying to do now in BDM Global as well. So same concept. For me, right, this skill here, I put it the same as the counter skill because this skill is 2-second cooldown. Okay, let that sink in. It's 2-second cooldowns. So you can keep using this skill to counter and counter and counter. So that's why I put this here. If I have the 11th skill, I will put the 11th skill in, which is this one. I'll put this to replace here. Here, this skill obviously is the super far dash attack, the spinning drill attack that I mentioned. This is the high damage attack that I mentioned, and this is the level 70 buff. So, all in all, this is how I will set up PvP and PvE for Stryker. Okay, so this is PvE for Stryker, this is PvP for Stryker. I will do a separate video on the Stryker in PvP as well as the arena, showing you guys the combo as well, so you guys can appreciate. Oh, there's a whole lot of skill boosts here. Okay, so with that, that is this class itself, the Stryker, or rather Grand Stryker, since this is Ascended. And you see right off the bat that honestly his PvE is really not that great. Oh, okay, wait. I'm very quick with my PvP skill setup now. Okay, let's look at PvE. The problem is that he has so many animations, so many hits, right? And each of the hit is not high damage. So you end up watching him punching, doing a few punches here and there to a limited amount of area. That's why I say he's not great in PvE. He's absolute trash in PvE, if I were to be blunt and blatant. But in PvP, he is the boss. At least for what you guys have in BDM Global. But in our endgame state, right, he's also one of the top few in the arena. But for group versus group, he's only okay, I guess. Not that fantastic, but okay. Yeah, I'll rate him average in group versus group. At the most, maybe slightly above average in group, but that's it. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. If this video is helpful to you, remember to subscribe at the bottom right corner. And I hope I'll see you guys next video where I'll find the time to do the Stryker PvP in arena. Alright, thanks everyone for watching. See you guys. Bye.